by Riverside.
It's the Dynasty front office, and we are building you championships one trade at a time. I'm your host, Jesse Schneeman, and I'm here with the three spookiest friends anyone could ever have, starting with the auspicious Austin Bell. How you doing tonight, Austin?
Oh, I'm great, man. I remembered again that football's terrible, and I've also remembered with fantasy how much I hate it. But it's still fun. So I guess that's good. But nah, man, I'm good. It's another week we get to talk, have fun. How are you?
I'm great. We got some fun times tonight. Mike's gonna drop out and come right back. Got some fun times tonight planned, some spooky Halloween stuff. This year the bad beats for me. I don't know what to tell you. It's been really, really rough. My main man, Chad Mendoza, how's it been for you?
Yeah, not good. Not good. Yeah, all my players are going down. I'm like, it feels like every time I open an app, doesn't matter what app it is. Anytime I just unlock my phone, I get a notification. I'm like, oh god, I don't know what I'm gonna do here. I don't know what fun Austin's talking about because I'm not having fun. None of this is fun. I'm like, all this planning I did, all this excitement I had for my rosters
for this season.
Yeah, it's gone already. Usually that happens like mid season, like where you start stressing a little bit. But like I can't remember a season where it's happened this early, like in almost all my leagues.
At least you're not trying to run the Arizona Cardinals. Oosh. Or the Niners.
The Niners is really the one.
Yeah, at least they're not the Jets, so
it's true.
That didn't have anything to do with injuries, but
no, the Jets.
Make that comment.
It's really cool. I can say that as a Panthers fan.
Yeah. This sucks, but we're not the Jets.
Yeah, I had a team literally four of my starters went out with injury during the game this week. You can't win a game that way, including my quarterback Lamar. It's a 1 QB league. I scored 84 points when it in that league. It takes a good 120 to win. Just can't compete like that. Yeah. And then in the leagues that I am healthy, I can't start the right guys. Setting bad lineups. This week it doesn't matter. You just put in whoever you got. I'm literally starting Sean Tucker in a league.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, there's one league. Actually, it's a listener league where I'm like plugging in Darren Waller, and I'm like, oh, thank God I got Darren Waller. Like he's he's the pillar of hope. And then I sat back and I was like, oh God, it's Darren Waller. What am I doing?
Yeah, but you're playing me, so like, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but he's also like, he's also playing. I'm sorry, but he's playing a median too. Austin.
True. I mean, that's true. Yeah. But like, I'm starting Isaiah Bond and Jawan Johnson and Rashad White. So like, does it really? He's gonna get a win. And like, honestly, that's a better week for me than it has been because I got Evan Ingram back at least.
Yeah. I was gonna say, getting a win is pretty safe in our division because Austin still doesn't have one yet.
Nope. I've been close like 3 weeks in a row. I keep losing by like 8 to 15 points.
May that trend continue.
2 wins. And welcome back, Major Mike Casper. How you doing tonight, Mike?
I'm here, and my upload speeds still suck, and I don't know why. But it is good to be here. I missed you guys last week. Listened to the pod, and it made me all warm and feely about you guys. So glad we're here.
Oh, welcome.
You sure that wasn't the medicine?
It might have been that too. Who knows?
All right, Mike. Well, since you're back, why don't you tell everybody where they can find us when we're not podcasting?
Yeah, so you can find us on YouTube and Facebook at Dynasty Front Office, Twitter or X at Front Office SFF. Discord. I just got signed out of our show sheet, so I can't see the rest of it. This is a great start for me coming back. All right.
I got
Let's
you,
see.
buddy. Hold
No,
on.
all right. Discord link in the description. We'll be here every Thursday, followed by the pod release on Fridays. Please like and subscribe. And the Listener League, which I guess you guys were talking about while I was gone, really active. So one of you is probably going to be lucky enough to replace us this year. So we have hats and shirts for the year one players on the way. So join the Discord and become a part of the family.
Replace Austin.
No.
But
Hold on, we're not replacing anybody here now. Whoa. I mean, we might, because I'm not finishing last. But and by last, I mean like my division's going to win.
With shirts coming from for the year one people. The hats are giveaways.
Oh, there you go.
That's right.
Yeah,
Nice,
so
nice.
listen up for that contest. That'll be coming soon.
Yeah, Mike, you haven't memorized this yet?
No,
We're gonna
I
need-
should.
we need
He
to
took a week
put that in
off.
here.
He took a
Look,
week off.
I'm just going through it. I'm just going through it right now, man. With me getting booted off right at the beginning, it just threw my whole game off. So got to get back on track.
All right. Just take a deep breath. We'll throw it over to Chad for the trade banger.
This is the trade banger of the week, the one deal that's too good, too bad, or just too wild not to talk about. If you've got a trade that shook up your league, send it our way. It might just be next week's banger. This week we've got a submission from Dave. Thanks for the email, Dave. Let's get right to it. So I'm going to read Dave's email here. Let me bring it up. Got a little bit of mic stuff going on right now.
Dave.
Okay. So subject, trade banger submission from Dave in San Antonio. Is this Dave Donaldson? No, he's not in San Antonio. Never mind. Hey fellas, love the pod. Found you guys recently and listen pretty consistently now on my morning commute. So thanks for making the drive bearable. Anyway, I just pulled the trigger on a deal in my 12-team Superflex league, and I need you to tell me if I'm seeing clearly or if I'll regret this. I think he means.
Not even a letter.
No regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets at all. I sent Malik Nabers. I received CJ Stroud. I sent Malik Nabers and a 26 second, and I received CJ Stroud and Tyler Warren. Here's my thinking. Nabers is a beast, no doubt, but the injury spooked me a little, and I don't want to sit on my hands while maybe we see a little bit of a dip in value. Stroud's been struggling, but I think he's the real deal. Bad line, bad vibes around him, but the talent's there, in my opinion. And Warren, man, he looks like he might be the real breakout tight end of the rookie class. So here's my question. Did I sell too low on a future wide receiver one, or did I cash out at the right time for a QB plus tight end package in Superflex that could end up aging really well? I know trading Nabers is risky, but fortune favors the bold, is what Dave says here. Appreciate it, Dave in San Antonio. All right, Dave. Thanks for that. Great email. All right. So Malik Nabers and a 26 second CJ Stroud and Tyler Warren. Very interesting trade, if I say so myself. But Austin, got a question for you. So what's scarier? Watching Malik Nabers hit long-term IR early in the season, and this early in his career, or watching Stroud struggle early in the year, yet again after the season he's coming off of last year? In your opinion, what's kind of the more problematic situation?
What's scarier and what's more problematic are two different things. What's scarier is Nabers going on IR for the Giants in his second year. That feels awfully reminiscent of a very other special receiver on the Giants that really never recovered from the injury. So that being said, that is terrifying to me. Mainly because of what happened with Odell. Like, he was just never the same player after that. I know we've seen probably 100 other players come back and be just fine, but just it being on the Giants early in his career, being as just dominating as we saw early on, that probably scares me more. But on the problematic side, Stroud not clicking in year 3 after what we saw in year 2 is, in the long-term window, likely more problematic.
Okay. Yeah, you guys have anything to add to that or have a difference of opinion on it?
Nah, I was just gonna say I always like a trade where I can get a quarterback and don't have to give a quarterback. I think even though Stroud with his struggles, like we've seen, I guess what right now is his ceiling, right? And we've definitely seen his floor too. So maybe he regresses to somewhere in the middle. I did see today though they traded an offensive lineman to the Browns. So did you all see something about that?
Yeah, I didn't. But that's kind of funny.
And that made me chuckle / scared for Stroud, considering what I've seen. But on top of that, I do think Tyler Warren is the real deal. It's probably going to be he's probably going to be my tight end 3 at the end of the year if this continues, at least, if not 2, if he can actually get some of those really big spike weeks. But so that's kind of what does it for me as far as what I'm feeling, to be able to get a middle tier quarterback that we've seen the ceiling and we've seen the floor, so we know it's possible. I don't know. I wouldn't mind taking the dart throw on Stroud, considering you just don't have Nabers for a whole year, and that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Especially if you're competing.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, well, your thoughts make sense. The Texans trading away offensive lineman does not make any sense. Really adopting the lessons.
Yeah, but it was Cam Robinson. Let's be real here. Like, he's okay to go to any team as long as it's not the Panthers.
They all. I mean, they have just bodies at this point, though, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I would bet that that's a culture thing. D'Amico Ryans is a huge culture guy, and if there was some kind of issue in the locker room, probably just get this guy out.
They did the same thing in the off season. So what is the culture in Houston then? Because who they trade Tunsil?
Question.
That's what.
Yeah, they traded Tunsil.
Yeah, that's what's troubling. I guess.
Interesting. So here's one thing that I'm a little. I guess I have a huge question mark on for me in this trade is the Tyler Warren part of it, right? Because for me, like, that's the safest part of the trade on the side that Dave is receiving here in that CJ Stroud, Tyler Warren aspect. The Tyler Warren side is what maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like that's what he's really banking on here. It's still really early in the year. And even if Tyler Warren does carry on, for the entire season, Daniel Jones continues to play well, and he's able to finish as like a top 5 tight end, let's say, right? We've seen like declines in Brock Bowers, or at least early on in the season so far. We've seen declines, in guys like Sam Laporta. So I think tight end's a little tough too, where even guys like Kyle Pitts, right, where after that really promising rookie year, we saw some stagnation there. Is that concerning at all to you, Jesse? Is tight end just, a struggling quarterback and a tight end that, while is really promising, we could see a little bit of stagnation. It's still early, basically.
Yeah, Chad, the Warren part, yes, exactly what you said. You said what concerns me is that we've seen a different tight end 1 for 5 years in a row now. We had, like you already mentioned, it was Laporta 1 year. It was Bowers coming into this year. It was Trey McBride 1 year. It was probably Kittle the year before. If it changes every single year, then it really doesn't make me feel good about Bowers, right? So that means Warren could be the tight end 1, but it doesn't make me feel good about his stability, right? So you have Daniel Jones as the quarterback who has performed well this year, but also has performed like Daniel Jones this year at times. So I'm not 100% sure that he's their quarterback going forward, that he's going to get a long-term deal. And then we're starting at ground zero again. We have no quarterback for this tight end. I know I shouldn't really care because the coaching staff and I guess the front office there has shown that they can put it together, I guess. But they've also shown that they'll go with Matty Ice and Joe Flacco and just husks of old quarterbacks, Gardner Minshew, or just throw whoever out there, right? So that is concerning to me for Warren. If really, yes, that is a bit of a concern. What did you say the premium was in this league?
He didn't list a premium. Let's just assume half point.
Yeah, the Lord scoring half point.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, in half point, Yeah, I just don't know if it's enough to really. As with a lot of trades, it just sort of comes down to roster construction. So, are you asking me, does the fact that he's a tight end concern me? Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to push back a little bit if that's all right, Chad. Jesse, because I mean, it doesn't concern me as much with Warren, because this is kind of the difference from Bowers. Is Bowers had a whole change in coaching staff, change in offense, change in philosophy, right? Like, I don't think we're baking on that's going to happen in Indy, considering, before the season started, it was like, yeah, they're probably on the hot seat. But as the season started, it's like, okay, they just didn't have the quarterback right. And someone's actually doing it right now, assuming this continues. And I think one thing to think about in this trade, right, is even if, say, I hope it doesn't happen, but Tyler Warren gets injured week 8 or something like that, but he continues to produce like this for the next 4 weeks. I don't know how you couldn't have him somewhere near your top 5 in Dynasty. Whereas with Nabers, he's kind of set, injured, not going to go higher, certainly might be lower to some people in the offseason because we've only got, 1 year of proof in the pudding, right? So that's where I think the insulation is okay in a position like tight end that is just so hard to get. Like trading for these guys is impossible right now.
Mm-hmm.
In most leagues. So it's going to take a Nabers kind of guy to be able to make that happen.
Yeah, Nabers' value is going to go down in the way that Chase's value went down or Burrow's value went down. It just makes them acquirable.
Yeah,
I
agree.
It's not going to make it's not going to make him worth like less than 2 firsts, or it's not going to make his value tank.
I agree, and I think you can always judge this for yourself if you're in a decent amount of leagues, or this is at least how I think about it. If you're in a decent amount of leagues and a guy like this goes down, like Nabers, I have a decent amount of Nabers. He went down. I've received so many trade offers on Nabers, and nobody is lowballing. Everybody's sending realistic options for Nabers, trying to get them. Because they know, like, it's not, you can't get Nabers at a discount. You can just probably get him now.
Right.
Is the hope.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just like I said, when Chase, I guess Chase was hurt a couple years ago, right?
Yeah.
But just imagine if Justin Jefferson were going to go down. God forbid, knock on wood. But if that were to happen, just kind of compare the value to Nabers. That's the neighborhood he's in.
We have Nathan in the chat, Chad, and he asked, did he mention who his current QBs are with potentially gaining Stroud? So is that something that's
he
maybe better?
He didn't, but that would have been really interesting
that's
to know.
Good to know.
Yeah.
I think that's always important too, right?
I would assume he really needed a quarterback.
Yeah. Or, I mean, I don't know. I don't know because some people just view Tyler. I mean, everybody knows Austin and I are super high on Tyler Warren. Anybody that listens to this podcast, coming out, we thought the world of him. Now that he's putting it out on the field, I think there's a decent amount of people that feel like, hey, this guy is a real contender, as Mike was saying, for a top 2, maybe top 3 tight end spot. And if you're in a tight end premium, we're assuming this is 0.5, could be 0.75, right? But maybe he just values that on his roster build more than he does the potential of a top 3 wide receiver, which, as much as I like Nabers, we don't know yet. There's still question marks there too. So that I could see it go either way. I would feel a little bit better about this trade if it was happening maybe midway through the season and we got a little bit more of a sample size of both Tyler Warren and CJ Stroud. Because there's so many different variables as we progress into the season on both of these players. Malik Nabers obviously not, but on both of the players on the one side. It could end up looking really good, but if CJ Stroud struggles for the entire season yet again, Tyler Warren takes a little bit of a dip, this trade could look really different this upcoming offseason. Am I off base on that?
No, not at all. I agree. The Stroud part is the one is really the big variable here, and that's what scares me. I mean, if you look at it from a next year point of view, they have a chance to fix their offensive line in the offseason and maybe Stroud looks better. But for this year, if you're making that trade because you don't have the Nabers points in your lineup, I don't know that Stroud's my guy.
Yeah. Who haven't I asked a question to? Mike, did I ask you a question?
No, but I feel like I talked more than Austin at this point now.
Okay, well, Austin, I'll direct this one to you. Does Jackson Dart play into your mindset of this trade at all? Right, we saw the flash his first week starting. Maybe the Giants have a quarterback situation that's not looking as bleak as it's looked recently. Does that play into the equation where you're saying, okay, maybe I need to hold on to Nabers through this injury and just see what it looks like in a more, pass friendly offense?
Not for 1 week. Again, if you said, like you brought up, midway through the season, and when this was happening, sure, if I can see Dart for 3 of the first 5 weeks looks like an above average passer, then yeah, that could absolutely having that young QB tied to Nabers could absolutely help me. But 1 week, I've watched so many quarterbacks look good on their first week coming in. NFL defenses get tape on them, and they basically never look the same. So, obviously that's backup level quarterbacks. We're hoping Dart is much better than that. But for that specific question, no. Currently, that doesn't change my opinion with Nabers at all.
What about you guys? Is that a factor at all in your thinking on this trade? And I'm not saying hey, Jackson Dart is a sure thing, right? Obviously, it's one game. All I'm saying is, is it something where maybe the ceiling is just raised a little bit more in your mind because we could get good quarterback play?
Maybe, but really, what concerns me is the instability with the Giants and Daboll being on the hot seat, and who knows what's coming next. So that is concerning to me because Jackson Dart is very much Daboll's guy. So if he's not going to be there, I don't know if he's going to be there or not. I assume as a Giants fan, you don't want him there, and the way you were talking about him last week. So that is concerning. Is the next coach going to see Dart the same way? I don't know. So I don't know if I even see that as a positive at this point.
Yeah.
What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I was just going to say kind of CJ Stroud is the right example of kind of what Austin was talking about too, right? The more tape you get on him, second year was completely different from what we saw in the first year. The good thing is, Jackson has legs and can run, but that's not really I guess it is a good thing for Nabers, right? If you keep drives going, but that doesn't help him as much, I guess, as, a pure thrower of the football would be. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely concerning for sure. And with every one of these trades, right? It's, hey, am I contending? Or even if he's not contending, I still honestly kind of like the Warren and Stroud side because you've got a real good chance to really gain value on one, if not two of those guys. The Texans aren't going to dump Stroud either. I think he could move down certainly, but I don't know if it'd be a massive drop.
Let me ask you, Chad, instead of putting words in your mouth, would you rather roll with what you see with Dart and Daboll right now, or re-roll with a new coach and a first-round quarterback next year if you had the choice?
Well, right now, if Dart keeps playing the way he did week one, or not week one, but his first week in the starters spot, then you keep Daboll because point is to win games. It doesn't matter if I dislike Daboll or think he's well, I don't want to say unkind things, but if he's winning games, it's all that matters, right? So
yeah, sure.
And if Jackson Dart's going to bail him out, which I think is a decently likely scenario to happen, is Dart, preseason's preseason, first week is first week. When you see a quarterback have a good performance, and you see a guy, I guess what I'm saying is there's a difference between seeing a decent player have a good performance and a player look like a game changer. And Dart looks like a game changer. He just looks like he's just doing things on the fly, that there's no game script. He's just going out there and making plays, where I haven't seen that ever from a Giants quarterback, ever.
It feels like there's a correlation to me to what's going on in Denver with Peyton and Nix. Once it started to click with Nix, it feels kind of similar to me.
Yeah.
Not saying scheme wise or anything like that. Just the whole.
Just he's his
running
guy,
around.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's his guy.
He's his guy.
He's embracing the system, running around and making plays within it. You know,
there's a little bit of a truth in that, as far as like Dayball absolutely loves Jackson Dart, like adores him, and like a, you know, you might save my job and provide financial stability for me kind of way, but the entire franchise is just all about this kid from the top to the bottom. There's nobody. I mean, you talk to any, or you listen to any beat writer or read any of their articles, and all they can say is that every single person in this building loves this kid. Like he is the Giants quarterback. He is the Giants quarterback. So I don't think it's strictly on Dayball. I think whoever they bring in, the Giants have been pretty good about saying, okay, you know, if you're going to come in here and coach this team, for better or worse, you know, do you like the players we have? Because if not, we can't make it work. We can't just bring in a whole new set of players. You got to make what's here, you know, work. And they did the same thing with Eli when quarterbacks came in, and Eli was towards the end of his career. They did the same thing with Daniel Jones. So I don't see that as a major concern for me personally, but I can see from like an outsider's perspective how that could definitely be concerning if you just see, you know, Dart tied to Dayball.
Okay, right on. I would take the Neighbor side.
I would take the Warren side.
Easily the Warren and Stroud side for me.
Okay. I'm undecided. So
good.
We're gonna go with the Warren and Stroud side and say, Dave, you won the trade. Yeah. Anything else on this, guys? I feel like we hit it pretty good.
I would like to figure out what Neighbors' value is. I mean, we talked about the Chase dip. I mean, that was 2 or 3 years ago. I don't remember what that felt like. I mean, if you have Neighbors and you're a contender, I mean, how low are you comfortable going? Are you good doing JSN straight up?
No.
Yeah, I can't do that.
I love JSN. I'm the highest here on JSN, and I won't do that.
Could I throw in a second and get Puka from a non-contender?
I don't think so. I think it's a first.
I think.
What, Neighbors and a first for Puka?
I don't think
so.
Oh,
Lord.
I mean, my next segment, we're going to get there. But
well, you're giving me the vapors with that one.
What about?
I mean, nobody's going to, outside of very smart dynasty managers, everybody's going to try to buy a significant dip on Neighbors, or they're not buying them. I mean, I literally saw Neighbors in a second for JSN. That's why I asked these questions.
Oh my gosh!
Like done.
That's
that was the done trade.
That's awful. Yeah,
that's an awful trade.
So
I haven't seen Neighbors moved for anything but fair value, and I've seen 4 trades now, and I've been sent. Let me see.
Do you want to talk about my trade?
So
I've been sent 6 offers, and people are not just sending me offers; people are DMing me to have conversations.
So I had no Neighbor shares, so that has to be factored into the trade that I made. I've been fiending for a Neighbor share, but so I traded Gibbs and Rome for Neighbors and what should be either 101, 102, or 103 next year, and a 27 second.
It's a lot. I'll be honest. Like,
it's a lot to give up.
Yes. Like, now getting what could be the 101 and Jeremiah Love could absolutely work for you greatly.
Or one of those quarterbacks could.
Which one? None of them look good. So that's why I'm saying Jeremiah Love. Like, it's currently 101 is easily Jeremiah Love. Like, that's, unless one of these quarterbacks, which really is only about Dante Moore, is the only one that's currently playing well enough to possibly. Yeah, sure.
I'm kidding. It's a joke.
Sure. So, like, if that happens, the trade feels better. But if the pick goes to 3, and then, I mean, there's really no receivers that are just quote unquote elite prospects this year. There's not an RB2 that I like enough to take in the top 3. So then you're stuck taking one of these quarterbacks that will get the draft capital, and it could work. But Rome, if the usage and the touchdowns happen to keep coming, Rome could be at wide receiver 5 or 6 this offseason. Gibbs absolutely could be 1 or 2, and it currently is. So, like, you're giving up a ton for a guy that's hurt, and what should be. I mean, say what
Okay,
you will. We're
that's a
underplaying
weird-
this injury. We've absolutely seen players not recover from a knee injury. I mean, it
Well, I
happens.
mean,
That's a clean ACL.
It's a clean ACL. There's no other damage at all. It was best case scenario was actually what happened. As far as the knee injury goes, and then also like I get what you're saying, and like the Odell callback and everything. Odell struggled with injuries way like it was bad. I mean, and it wasn't knees and stuff. It was calf sprains and hamstrings. He came into the league with a bad hamstring where he was just missing, 6-7
took him,
weeks.
9 weeks to come into the league. All right.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that just happened again and again and again where it was all these hamstrings and then he had the knee injury. He had the high ankle sprains. So, I mean, it wasn't just like one thing. Odell was just an injury prone player. I think it's just a little bit unfortunate. Maybe the turf has something to do with it, in Meadowlands, but, or in Giant Stadium, but, yeah, I mean, I'm not as worried about it. I think there's something special about having a wide receiver where he's having a 10 target week, and you're like, man, that whatever, like that's a kind of season Nabers had last year. That's what it looked like early in the season this year. I think they just prioritize getting him the ball, and it's not like they're forcing it. He just is getting open every play. So.
I would love to have seen Dart with him to make sure that was going to continue, because that always worries me. I mean, we can it is, but I've watched too many quarterbacks come in and then they change their target usage.
But just the way Nabers
different though.
Nabers came into the league and was like, okay, I'm open all the time. I command targets. It's just he is that guy. He just is. And he should get 15 targets a game.
Like AJ
and
Brown.
It's not just like hey, I'm getting the targets. It's not Rome Odunze, right? Like Rome Odunze is for as much as I love Rome, he's not going to command targets. Nabers, if he's not getting the ball, is going to come up to the coach at halftime and say, "Why haven't I been thrown the ball?" And they're going to have it out. Like and some people don't like that. That is a great thing.
That's not a good thing.
That's a great thing.
I don't like that.
It's not because it's not like it's not malicious like it's about me. It's I'm our best chance to win. I'm better than all these guys, and he's substantially better than everybody else in the field. If Nabers isn't getting the ball, the Giants don't win. That's the end of the story.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
So, Chad, how do you feel about that trade Jesse made then?
I forgot the trade.
Dunze and Gibbs for Nabers and what likely is a top 3 first
and a second.
I mean, it depends if it's a start 1 or start 2 running back. Gibbs is tough. Yeah, I probably have the Roman Gibbs side, but I mean, yeah,
it was. I needed to get a Nabers share.
It depends.
I saw it as a pretty fair trade. I thought it was pretty even. And also, I will counter, Austin, what you're talking about, the pick. And
I know whose pick it is. Absolutely. I get it.
No. I mean, who that pick could turn into as far as player. I don't have to draft a player.
Well, of course.
Well, that's what I was going to say, too, is it just depends on what you do with the pick, right?
Like, I am probably, I mean, everybody in that league probably listens to this podcast, so I don't want to announce my plans, but I'm probably going to trade it for a quarterback, to be honest.
I mean, that's smart.
Yeah. I mean, you could probably get Stroud plus with that pick, so.
I'm not doing that.
But I know, but I'm just saying.
I'll find the guy.
Hey, Chad, Nathan in the chat said he wants Gibson Rome, so.
Yeah.
Just for.
Okay.
So that side wins.
Nice.
So we're not really dropping Nabers at all, is what we're getting at. Like, if you're the contender and you have to make, if you're a contender and you lose Nabers, you're likely not a real contender anymore unless your team's just loaded.
If Nabers was healthy, he wouldn't have offered that to me.
But that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking separately. Like as a contender, you lose Nabers. I mean, we got to make moves. Most of us, if we're still trying to win, have to make a move.
But it is what you're asking.
Are we dropping?
That is him dropping his value.
Here's the difference. If you're coming to me and you're saying I will, and I've already had this trade. Actually, somebody in Einstein's came to me with a trade and was like, "Hey, Nabers for Lamb plus. Lamb's coming back soon. I can give you plus on top. Give me Nabers." I turned it down. right? But that would be a kind of trade that I would at least consider because you're getting a premium wide receiver and then a little bit on top, or you're having to give up a little bit. Like if somebody said, hey, Jefferson, which maybe the quarterback situation makes that a little bit scary, but I'll give you Jefferson, give me Nabers and a little bit extra, right? Then those are kind of trades I'm considering, but it has to be in that ballpark. You're not coming to me with, some second tier, third tier wide receivers and saying, hey,
Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, no, not happening. Right. So that's what I'm getting at is, maybe I can stomach a little bit of a dip, but it's got to be a dip with a comparable player, and I'll just pay the little bit on top.
Okay, so you'd rather pay the plus to go up than, let's say, London in a second.
No.
JSN in a second.
No.
Okay. All right. That's kind of what I'm trying to figure out, because a lot of people have come to me this week asking me what to do. They've gotten offers for JSN straight up, CeeDee Lamb straight up, A-Chain straight up. Obviously people are fishing. They want Nabers. So I don't know how to feel about it either, because as a contender that loses them, I'm 8-0 in a league and lost Nabers. And I don't have a ton of wide receiver depth. I'm not really sure what to do. I'm not going to get an offer. Realistically, I'm not going to get an offer like y'all are saying, because the only offers I've got in that league are Devonta Smith in a second and Marvin Harrison for Nabers in a second. So, that's what I'm saying. They're guys we're with, and y'all are in leagues with them too. So that's what I'm saying.
Then hold
better, guys.
and trade for a Devontae Adams stopgap or something like that.
They don't really respect you, is what I'm hearing.
Well, I agree with that. Don't worry, I gave him a nice emoji back. But yeah, that's kind of what I was asking. I've had a lot of people ask me this week, and I didn't really know what to answer with either. JSN in a second, honestly, didn't feel bad. I don't love it for the long term, but you're getting what hopefully is top 3 production the rest of the year.
Yeah.
My bottom line advice is, if you're not getting what Chad and I have just discussed, then, like I said, trade for a stopgap. Trade your second for a stopgap if that's what you need to do.
Yeah, you can go out and find productive players pretty cheap that are short-term answers.
Yeah,
exactly. Don't go and give up your elite of the elite asset because you want a little bit of points in the short term. There's other plays that you can make. It's not just, hey, Nabers has gone down, I need to sell Nabers. Go figure some stuff out. Get creative. You can make it work.
I like it. That's a good way to finish that.
All right. I guess that does it for Trade Banger of the Week. Send in your trade bangers. Chad, you have the email address for us?
So it's dynfo.official@gmail.com. Send in your trade offers, as Jesse was just saying. Please, we've gotten some emails that are not as thorough with the teams. Don't ask any questions. Just be thorough. Talk to us like you're having a conversation in the email. We love that, and those are the kind of emails we're gonna pick. So we appreciate it, though, guys.
All right, Austin, what 2 things can be true this week?
This is going to be spicy, guys. Y'all have already yelled at me multiple times, so y'all are about to yell at me again. And I mean that jokingly, but y'all are definitely about to yell at me again. Puka Nakua is currently the wide receiver 1 on the season and likely in Dynasty, especially once we kind of fish out the non-production at the top of the wide receiver chart currently. But I believe if you're not a true contender, he is currently a sell. Again, that's probably spicy, and sure, he's at his peak. Obviously, you sell at your peak, but we've watched Matthew Stafford the past 3 seasons contemplate retirement, and why I think Puka is linked to Stafford and his production. So Puka's played a small sample size, but it's all we have. 4 games without Stafford. He is literally, his production is cut in half. He averages 3.5 receptions. He averages under 60 yards, and he's only had 2 touchdowns in 4 games. With Matthew Stafford, which is 26 games, I believe it is, it's 7.5 receptions for almost 100 yards, and he's basically averaging a touchdown a game. it's just if Puka gets to that wide receiver 1 price point and you're not a true contender taking this, what is likely to be, it's quite possible he breaks the receiving catches and yardage this season. It could easily be plus 160 catches and plus 2,000 yards. I think you should sell him. It terrifies me. Going back to Stafford all the way to Detroit, he has always hyper-targeted his wide receiver 1 and 2. I mean, back when Golden Tate, Calvin Johnson, Cooper Kupp, Puka came in, like, it's just what he does, and he is a great quarterback. So he has the ability to hyper-target these guys accurately, get them the ball, and let them do what they do. If the quarterback changes and McVay doesn't nail it again, that production could easily slip back down to where he's back at that wide receiver 8 or 9 in Dynasty very quick. So that's my 2 things. Anybody feel like I'm an idiot, or maybe I'm making a little bit of sense?
No, I think you're making a lot of sense. So I think one thing that's interesting is when we talk about, I'm going to say just top 3 guys right now, when we think of Jefferson and Chase, and then we'll throw Puka in there, they all have quarterback questions this season and next season, right? Like, Matt Stafford's one bad hit in his back away from maybe it could completely change this offense. You know, you're relying on the corpse of Jimmy G, right? AJ McCarthy. We don't know what he is still, right? All we know is he's been dog water for 7 out of 8 quarters. And then the Bengals, you know, Joe Burrow's injured again. And I'm not going to lie, like, Chase was pissed on Monday night, and rightly so, having awful games because he doesn't have a good QB to throw him the ball. So I think now is the peak. And if I'm not contending, I would absolutely 100% sell. And like we were talking about the last segment, like if I could get any plus on top of Nabers for Puka, I'd take it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the perfect name for me. If you have Puka and you're not that top 3, see what you can get on top for Nabers.
All right, what about compared to the other guy that seems matchup proof this year, ARSB?
Well, I mean, he's going to be linked with golf for the foreseeable future, so I'm much more comfortable with that. And I got a feeling you could probably, well, it depends on who has him. You can probably get a decent plus with that as well.
Same with Lamb too. I mean, Lamb, we know what his situation's going to be for at least another couple years.
So. I'll tell you what, Lamb's probably got to be a pretty good buy right now. There have to be some people that are frustrated with him after last year being hurt, and now, you know, he's probably going to miss at least 4 games, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think they said 2 to 4 was what they expected. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think if the Lamb owner is not feeling good about it and can get someone's production like that, because I mean, honestly, right, the Cowboys could lose the next 4 games, and then what are the rest of this game's going to look like this season? But Puka, I think they're competing for a division and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How old is Lamb? 26?
26 and a half. Yeah.
He came in young and was productive right away.
Yeah. Puka just turned 24. So I was looking, and honestly, I was agreeing that right now, I mean, you could absolutely and probably should make the argument that Puka's the wide receiver 1.
I'm only doing it if I can get another top tier receiver and a plus.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not wanting you to drop big time.
It's got to be one of those guys we've already discussed, right? Is there anybody else even in the discussion? Chad, can you think of anyone?
No, not really. Not off the top of my head.
Yeah. At this point.
I mean, I love going after Nabers. I think that would be the ideal target. I mean,
even Chase. Maybe you can go after the Chase owner.
Yeah, that would be.
This is going to be it. Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie. He could just be crap for the rest of the season because he didn't have a quarterback, and quarterback doesn't have an offensive line. So
if they don't trade for a quarterback, he will be crap for the entire season.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll have a game or two because that's who he is. But
yeah,
absolutely.
That, I mean, in the current state that offense is in, it is the worst offense in the league.
Yeah, it's really
bad. Crazy.
It was obvious that they weren't going to be able to score a touchdown. And Denver kind of played around with them, just ran the ball and didn't really even try after a while. Yeah. It was 21-3 for a long time.
Yeah.
We're also talking about the best defense in the league. So,
no, they got lit up by Danny Dimes. They're not. They have a good pass rush. That's about it.
Right. Well, Surtain was hurt in that game, right?
No.
I don't think
No,
so.
when he's
Maybe.
I thought
I
he was
don't know.
playing hurt. Yeah, all right.
Maybe.
No excuses from Mike. Come on,
I'm
now.
not gonna lie. Like, he looked good on a lot of his. We don't have to talk about it, but he looked good on his coverages. But wide receiver just made a better play on the ball, so it's not like he was getting mossed or destroyed.
Yeah, that pass rush was just not affecting Daniel Jones at all. It was really really something.
Yep, it's good.
They were getting pressure.
But yeah, no, back to Puka.
Yeah.
I guess our conclusion is right. Like you move Puka, right, if you're a contender, but we're not talking about for 2 mid-tier assets and a pick or something like that.
If you're not a contender.
Yeah, if you're not a
Correct.
contender. Yeah.
Just don't do it just for like a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, like
you have to get another elite asset. I don't know. Would you cross over to like Bijan?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Would you do that straight up?
But I mean, that's not really happening, right? Because you're trading Puka to a contender, right? Is what we're saying in this case, and the contender is not going to trade Bijan.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
But I mean, the value makes sense there, I think. But even Jefferson,
but you never know. There are those like kind of half rebuild rosters where like they just kind of drafted Bijan, but they're still not really in it. That have held on to him. Maybe those are the kind of guys that are like, hey, I'll flip the running back for the wide receiver, the comparable running back and wide receiver, just because one's a wide receiver. So I mean, it's possible, but yeah, like Mike was saying, if you're not a contender, you typically are not going to have
Bijan or Gibbs. Any other running backs on that list that you would entertain?
No, not straight up. There'd be others I'd entertain, but not straight up.
Right.
I would take Jinty plus.
I was about to say I would.
I was going to say Judkins plus what?
There you go.
You know
was the other
what
name.
though? You know what though? I'm still trying to buy Judkins shares.
He is. Me too. I've tried all week and haven't gotten luck.
Good
I
luck.
guess everybody else.
I want Gabriel
is too.
to just make the offense look like crap, and then hopefully that happens for a little bit, and there's a bunch of drama, and Judkins kind of sucks, quote unquote, because of it, right? And then there's a window.
I'm really hoping one of these 2 quarterbacks works out, either Gabriel or Sanders.
Talking about the mimer,
shot.
The mimer, Shedeur Sanders.
Sanders, I don't know if he's going to start anywhere. I think now at this point.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I would not want him in my organization.
He literally mimed a complete interview when they were talking about the QB situation. I'm talking.
He didn't use words.
Yeah, he
was speaking, but nothing was coming out. And it's because Rex Ryan told him he needs to learn how to be humble or whatever and shut his mouth and put his head down. And so that was his response
the next interview
to a TV personality,
Gabriel.
right? Like, I don't know, like something's like, I'm sorry, like this is a business first and foremost, and that is not an employee, right? Let's say it, that I would want. So I don't know. I just can't see him starting
I don't
anywhere.
care.
If you can't start for the Browns, you're not going anywhere
if he
else.
can hoop.
Yeah, if Gabriel goes
I'm
down
cool with
and Sanders can play, it's not going to matter.
But who's going to give him a chance? I feel like this is almost like Tebow. If Tebow was a good guy.
If Gabriel's awful and Sanders comes in and plays well, then he's going to play. The issue is if he's borderline, like if he's just meh, right? Those guys with the Tebow personalities are not going to get opportunities.
That's exactly why Cam Newton didn't get another opportunity. He was too big of a atmosphere around him. That just too much going on.
Yeah, your
was
play
also
has to
terrible in New England.
I mean, have you watched quarterback play? There's enough of it around there.
Yeah.
But that was my 2 things could be true.
Yeah. I mean, how's the quote go? Like, you can have all the personality until I can replace you, or something like that. But that's
never
exactly
heard of
what
it. That's
is.
so true.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's a Chad Mendoza quote, I think.
I've heard it from somewhere, but it's true. Like if these guys prove to be, guys you can't replace, then they're gonna play a really good career and have a good have a good time doing it. But if they're average, then their personality can't afford it.
Yep. Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, I mean he's another.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. I guess that's it. On that note, this has been the front office.
Peace.
Catch us on YouTube and Facebook at Dynasty Front Office, Twitter X at Front Office FF, Discord, links in the description. See you every Thursday, pod release on Fridays. Please like and subscribe.
Find new episode. Let's go.